Hey there, Tater Tots, and welcome to the third round of the StimHack Online Cash Refresh Season 6 tournament, put on by the illustrious Fighting Walloon. And here we have me, Internet Potato, playing my third round match against groenkaaf. Groenkaaf? I'm not sure. I'm gonna call him Big G. So me and Big G are squaring off. Freedom versus Red Tree. Not a surprising match to see. I think that the runner side is mostly split between Kit and Freedom. So I'm going to show him what I got, which is some ice, some draw, and a biodome, whatever that thing is called. The Nisei upgrade thingy. So this deck has changed a lot since the previous round, making space for biodomes, changing Future Perfect for Obokata, and dropping moons for a couple of MCR austerity policies and making a couple of ice changes as well. So I'm still trying to, sorry, get a kind of an early rush going, jam out an agenda on the first or second turn. All right, turn 3 points in the bag, seems all right. I really like Himitsu Baku in this ID. It's like not so expensive that you feel bad about using it. It kind of sucks to get NGO sniped out of hand, but you know, it is what it is. And hoping that I'll be able just to start using austerity policy to grind the runner down and really make it hard for them to operate. So this doesn't quite work out exactly as I'd like it to, where I can res MC austerity policy, use it, and also play IPO, but it's all right. An early MCA is rough because it's like the runner wants to be building up that tempo so they can, you know, get on with their game plan, but they really have to address this while it's hurting their tempo. It's like a really unpleasant card to play against, and I feel a little bit bad for using it, but I don't know, it's pretty sweet. So I'm not sure about that idea to Ice HQ with a toll booth. That really probably should have been saved for the scoring remote. You know, but yeah, maybe I was thinking about diversion of funds. Not sure. Yeah, and here I'm just kind of looking for ways to prevent him from farming tokens for use with Yusuf and for Freedom's ability. Yeah, no, that makes sense because I wanted to make sure that I guess I probably could have saved a click there and used uh, the red tree ability. But here I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't able to get through with Yusuf. Yeah, so he's not going to be able to get his counter, or he'll get a counter, but he'll be able to use it this turn. And that gives me enough time to crack MC austerity policy, score the second Obokata, and I am in a slightly, you know, weak position credits wise, so he can go ahead and farm some more counters if he wants to. Instead, he's going to go ahead and start using Hippo to destroy some ice. We have a little discussion here. Maybe not. Yeah. So I was thinking about whether I could use the Himitsubaku ability to avoid getting hippoed. I think we have a discussion about it later on because it's more relevant, but I didn't really care at that time. So, yep, leaving R&D wide open. I do have the sandstorm, so I can smack him into the toll booth, but I don't think that I want to do that yet. I really want to hang out of the sandstorm and use it for getting my for getting my final agenda scored. So I did get 4 points off medical breakthroughs, but that does give me a pretty solid out in that, essentially if I can just if I can keep R&D safe enough that he's not able to to snipe the last one, then I'll be able to use things like Rashida to finish it off. So we're gonna go ahead and start setting up stuff that he has to burn his counters, and this time we have a little discussion about what the interaction is here. So, because basically what I was trying to think of is like I want to keep him from being able to farm use of counters, and as long as I'm putting Himitsubakus over R&D, that's not really going to slow him down for much. Like right now what I'm thinking is I need to get some end the run ice over R&D and then get to the point where I can purge virus counters and then work on building up my scoring remote or getting the third medical breakthrough. Yeah, and so the discussion here is like, if there's a paid ability window before he starts breaking, then I should be able to spend a credit to bounce him at Tsubaku. If there's not a paid ability window until he starts breaking, then when he breaks the last one, he immediately can use Hippo to trash it on his window. And though in terms of taxing ice, Himitsubaku is about as bad as anything is likely to get against this person. Against Big G. Okay. Yeah. And so the conclusion is that when he says he's running, I have the ability to pay a credit to bounce at 3-1, bounce Himitsubaku back to hand. Once he decides he's going to start breaking in 3-2 during the ice encounter, it's going to be his priority. And it turns out that I was not thinking about making this decision at all while we were chatting and chewing the fat. But, in reality, it's like I don't care too much about him trashing this Himitsubaku if he chooses to do so. Because I'm not really going to be able to keep him out very well with the barrier anyway. Yeah, this is a questionable play. I think that I would have been better off trying to get some ice over R&D and then purging virus counters. Yeah, and it is very expensive to use nanotech to break an ANSI. But really, like, I just want to tax his money down a little bit. Yep, so if I have him hit HQ, lose some bucks, and then, oh, yeah. Sorry, I should have let him jack out. It's dumb. It was a mistake. I was thinking about Ag Infusion. And here I probably should have just purged viruses instead of doing the hedge fund, because he does have the ability to get into this remote. If I purged viruses, then I would have probably installed the Nancy over front of R&D if he did run it on his turn, which would be a pretty significant tempo hit for him to deal with. It would be 6 credits to break it. Yeah, he knows it's coming. He's ready for it. He's got a big old handful of garbage ready to take some nets. On the plus side, I really like the rearrange 5 effect, even though I'm about to completely screw it up. So I'll put the neural katana on the bottom. Don't need that. Okay, hedges, seems good. Put the brain trust in there, and then snare on top. Because snare on top is a great place for it to go, right? And I draw the... Oh, fuck. I drew the snare. Oh, I fucked that up. Shit. Fuck. And so my opponent is kind enough to let me fix this. So we'll go ahead and put that one there. Rearrange the top 5. Neural katana, hedge fund, okay. Alright, snare, and then brain trust. Now we're good. Now we draw the card. Now the runner decides. Great. We're good. Doing that damage. Do the other 3, net damage. Let him in. Snare him. And give him just a nice even 5 Clan Vengeance counter so you can just clear out my hand. So really what I should have done is remember that Clan Vengeance existed and put the Brain Trust down low enough, so I guess 3 cards in. So he would hit the snare, I get the mandatory draw, and then Brain Trust would be on top. But anyway, it's cool. I'm kind of poor, but now he doesn't have any counters to break with Yusuf, and so I've got a little time where I can charge up MCI austerity policy, draw up, gain some credits. Get her done. So there's a pretty sweet shot of his to use build script and then to use 0 and hit I've had worse. That's a lot of draw for 2 clicks. So this virus breeding ground is not great for me because it prevents my ability to really lock him out. I'm really happy that I put a code gate over archives because that would have been a game-winning mad dash right there. So even though he now has the ability to use Yusuf to get into server 1, oh man, he got it again. Another I've had worse hit with 0. It's great when that happens. He can get in, he can use some counters, he can trash the MCI austerity policy, but really, like, I could just kind of be making time until that last medical breakthrough shows up. There's a lot of game left. Look at how long this video is. How is it possible there's still another, like, 20 minutes of play left? Alright. That's cool. So this Neural Katana sucks right now, but check this out. Strength 3 nanotech. Oh yeah, we got a plan for that. Let's go ahead and add that to HQ. It's a Strength 2 nanotech, friendo. Yeah. That just cost you 3 more credits, son. So like in terms of the ratio of planning ahead to actual impact, that was not a great play. But I don't know. I really like that. Unfortunately, Freedom Khumalo has this pretty great ability and just kind of gets her done. Right. Okay. So, but I am too poor now to score this medical breakthrough, which I just drew. Cool. So he runs archives. What? What's going on here? Gets the brain trust. 6 points, bunch of credits, but we got that last breakthrough. Finish it off. Great game. Really fun game. Just like cool back and forth plays. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. He was very close to winning on any number of plays, and yeah, it was cool. I think that Freedom is a really cool ID. Generates a lot of kind of econ while you're doing stuff you want to do. Oh. Sorry, I'm recording this commentary back to back with recording the commentary from the previous round, and so yeah, I forgot that there was another game coming up. So let's watch that second game, because that's how we play Netrunners. We play one side, then we play the other. Right. So here, I am still not feeling great about this runner deck. I don't remember what tweaks I made since the previous round, but you know the idea is basically the same. So a lot of events for your draw and your econ, a couple of liberated account, and then using stuff like and then using compile, flame out, and Wu's ability to camper modes. Cool. At least I start with a, bunch of draw and bunch of econ. Start moving. And here, I guess I'm thinking about whether I want to, let's try to think whether I wanted to challenge server 1 or just let it ride. Decided to let it ride because it would have been a pretty big tempo hit and burn up one of my compiles. I think that's the right thing to do, but it just sucks to see Rashida go off on turn 2. So now my opponent's sitting on a pretty big pile of credits. He cycled through 5 non-ice cards, and he's got 4 cards in hand. So he's probably got a piece of ice in there that's going to be pretty rough if I start face checking things. And I've been trying to be more aggressive against Red Tree and kind of get them to go low. And here I'm trying really hard to challenge this remote, and he's got a code replicator in there, so I'm going to take 2 nets on the way in. Anyway, at least it's only 2 credits to break each time, so let's go ahead and do that. losing the compile, which kind of is a bummer. And then it's like, all right, let's see what we got. And Sandstorm is super expensive to break with Lamb, but you can do it. And what sucks is that, like, I'm going to have to deal with it again if I break it and it doesn't get trashed. So, anyway, and it's another Rashida, which is, it's a bit of a bummer. So, like, yeah, I don't know. I would like to get that Sandstorm out of the way before it gets any harder to deal with. So if I can arrange to get another Lamb on board without too much fuss, that'd be a thing to do. Here I'm definitely just like way too loaded to do anything. I think I'd probably just take credits here. Probably could have drawn once and ditched the Mad Dash. Well, I guess I want to keep it if I've got the indexing in hand. Alright, so this indexing into a possible 5 credit face check. That's actually not too bad. I got 2 close left for cover from this. Let them fire, and then we'll see what's left on top. So luckily we see the Velotic and the VAR weaponization. So I can go back in there, and then the question is, like, if that is an NGO front in server 1, then he might be able to throw. No, he's already used Red Tree. So yeah, this is fine. This is safe. The question is, like, if he has the credits to get a nearly MP off, then that'd be bad. Anyway, let's get our lives back together here a little bit. And I've got a little bit of breathing room because I've seen what's on top there. I don't really need to mess with R&D for a little while. Get some money back, get some cards in hand. Managed to bounce back from that pretty quickly. So I know that people have knocked build script and process automation a fair amount, and like that's totally reasonable. For costing and influence, they're not that great. But in cache refresh, it's pretty helpful. Partially, like, you end up oftentimes having some extra influence to burn just because you're not drawing from the whole card pool. And once you've got your core, needs taken care of, like, you find yourself lacking in low influence options for draw and econ, and they fit in pretty well. But I also really like how, since they cost 0 credits, they let you bounce back from low totals pretty well. Plus, you get to do activities. Like, you get to do lots of things when you play them. It's almost as good as Deuce's Wild, where you also get to, you can pick all sorts of things to do. I was hoping that he would bounce the flame up, but he chose not to, which makes sense, because he's playing to win. So at this point in the game, I'm actually feeling pretty happy with my situation. That single Komainu is not looking too bad. He's not super rich. I need some more cards here to get my strategy running. But at least I've got the econ coming in. Fortunately, seeing Anansi and 2 surveyors in hand means that, like, things are going to get a lot more expensive. And surveyor, I don't really have any great answers for. Like, nanotech is just never that good at dealing with it, and I can't use admin either, really. because its strength is going to be changing. Yeah, double checking. Yeah, that's strength 5. Get out the Fat Man. Deals with Sandstorm at a reasonable price, and I'm still feeling the burn from that Lindsay heavy game last week. Yeah, got my admin out. Got my Fat Man. And I really should have tried to clear out that Amani, the server 2, because that's a lot of money to invest in a breaker that he might be able to bounce if he had a 3-2 in there. Luckily, it's just a Maryland campaign. So, right now I'm trying to think about how long it's been since I hit R&D with that indexing. And yeah, I should probably get some money, install Ngolo, and deal with that Amani Semi, because I think it's just super expensive to deal with. But I'm kind of torn because I'm thinking that I might want to carefully plan that ice, and then Wu Lam or compile. Oh, what am I reclaiming? Why did I even put reclaim in this deck? It's a waste of a slot. I've already got compile. I guess I can trash. That seems dumb. That was dumb. I didn't like that play at all. That's it. I'm taking reclaim out of this deck immediately, on the basis of that stupid play alone. Yeah, I was thinking about Nancy and assumed that I was going to have to spend 3 credits to break Sandstorm. And it's just 1. And this is going to be a Surveyor at strength 4, which is going to be, strength 8. God, that's expensive. At least it is, exactly 7 credits. Next one's going to be a real bear, though. I do get the viral weaponization, which is cool, but I am going to lose my Fat Man. So that's a lot of dollars to lose. I invested a lot in that particular AI. So I'm just getting eaten alive by Amani Sanai right now. I don't want to lose the. It makes more sense for me to pay into it than to spend a click and the same amount of money anyway to install a Liberated account, which is definitely what we would have gone for. But man, that thing is a beast. On the plus side, since we're both on 6 points now, he can't use it again. So I can ignore it now. Yeah, so I put this fem in here because I was so enchanted by the idea of using compile to install fem, not on the ice that you're encountering, but on a later ice in the server. I had to go for it. But it is in my hand, which is not a very helpful place for it to be. So code replicator in Khumalo is one of those interactions that's it's like whatever it's called, that upgrade that lets you swap stuff around. You know the one I'm talking about. Some sort of grid, where every time that you encounter the ice on that run, it gains more subs. So it has 4 subs on this first encounter, and if he code replicators me into it, then I can either jack out or deal with an 8 sub Khumalo. So, like, alright, fine, it makes sense for me to pay to break it once. If he replicates me, then I'm just going to jack out. Fine. At least it clears the replicator off of there. He's only got, he's got 5 credits now. And, we'll see what we can do. So here I'm trying to decide, like, is that the winning agenda in there? I've got an indexing in the bin and same old thing on the board. I'm fine to hit Khumalo and just eat some net damage. I can pay through it once. He's got 5 credits. He's got a handful of some ice probably, but I guess it could be he could have a surveyor that he could throw down in front of me, which would be really hard to deal with. And there my out would probably be like using Dean Lister to boost nanotech to strength and then break with nanotech. I'm not sure that I would have enough to do it twice, which I'd have to do if it was, or at least do it once. I guess I could do it once and then break the trace that ends the run on the second run in, and I'd probably have a shot at making the indexing and follow-up run happen on R&D. So I think that's probably what I end up doing in this situation, but I can't remember entirely. It would be quite a trick to be able to get into server 1, and so I'm thinking that's probably the winning agenda because I just don't really see much of a way how I was going to get in there. So I'm going to go ahead and count some agenda points. See 6 plus 6, 12 on the board. Means that there's probably 8 more points minus the Nisei that I think is in server 1. So there's 6 points in R&D, which is probably 2 agendas. Probably 2 avocados, maybe an avocado and an SSL endorsement. So it's going to be tough. Maybe not possible to get to the bottom of that with 4 credits and start with 4 cards in hand. But we're going to give it a shot. So we're going to go ahead, same old thing, indexing. See what we can do. Don't fire that. Don't fire it. Yeah, break that stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get it. Now, why would I let it do 1 net damage? That's dumb. I guess knowing that I can't get in there twice. So, okay. So there's no agendas in there. That's a bummer. So, I'm confident that I can't get in server 1. So there's 1 face down in archives. But I'm just going to go ahead and hit HQ, I think, here. And just, it's always possible there's something left behind there. No res. No ice. No agenda. Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, and so he did have the nice combo of scoring the agenda and then using Imani Senai to bounce a card to hand and then hitting it with net damage. So that's kind of a cool trick you can do. He was also on 8 agenda points, so that's pretty good if you can make it happen. So those were both really fun games. like that game was really exciting. It was cool. There were like a lot of interesting situations where there were a couple of viable options, a decent amount of like bluffing and guessing. It was just like classic Netrunner as she has played. So, this has been a really fun tournament so far. A lot of really interesting, highly complex, interactive games, and big thanks to all of my opponents, to all of the team at the Cash Refresh Tourney channel on StimHack Slack, and big thanks to Fighting Walloon for putting this on, and the good people at Jinteki.net for making such a great platform and helping us all play this awesome game that we love to play together. So thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.